Once upon a time, there was a woman named Ayesha who lived in a small town in Pakistan. She owned and ran a small chicken farm. In their younger years, Ayesha and her husband worked together on their farm. Her husband had a large piece of farmland. A few years later, her husband passed away. After his death, she lost everything. She spent her days looking at his photograph and crying, unable to forget him. She was now living through a very difficult time. Age had bent her back, and every step she took was slow and painful. She lived with her son and her daughter-in-law. Her daughter-in-law was very rude and had a quick temper. Her son was extremely lazy and slept most of the day instead of helping her. Despite her old age, Ayesha worked very hard to support the family and keep the household running. One night, her son and his wife were secretly talking in the darkness. "If things keep going like this, we'll have nothing left to eat. I need to get a job," her son said. His wife looked at him and said, "You should make your mother leave this house." The next morning, Ayesha opened her cupboard and was shocked to find that everything had disappeared. When she stepped outside, she saw that all of her belongings had been left outside the door. Her daughter-in-law came up to her and said angrily, "Leave my house at once." After saying that, she slammed the door shut. The elderly Ayesha sat outside the house, crying helplessly with tears in her eyes.
As she sat there crying, she suddenly remembered something. Years ago, when she was young, she had hidden some money in a wooden chest and buried it in the ground. She picked up a shovel and began digging the ground where she had buried the chest years ago. When she found the chest, she smiled with joy. She opened it and began putting the money into her bag. After that, she picked up her bag and set off for another city. By evening, she arrived at her nephew's house. They were overjoyed to see her and warmly welcomed her. They asked about her well-being and then served her a delicious meal. While they were eating, Ayesha told them everything that had happened to her. She explained how her son and daughter-in-law had treated her and forced her to leave the house. As the night grew late, Ayesha went to bed to get some rest. The next morning, Ayesha woke up and had breakfast with them. She pointed to the piece of land, paid for it, and became its new owner. Her new house was being built very quickly, and she was filled with happiness. When her new house was finally finished, Ayesha couldn't hold back her tears of joy.
Ayesha stepped inside her new home, looked around, and smiled with tears of happiness in her eyes. She had also built a small chicken farm beside her new house. The neighbor's young son often helped her with her daily work. Meanwhile, her son and daughter-in-law were struggling with hunger. They had nothing left to eat. His wife looked at him and said, "Go and get a job. We can't survive like this anymore."
The next day, he took his bag and left to look for a job. As he walked, he noticed a huge chicken farm. He knocked on the door. Ayesha came to the door. When she saw him, she was surprised, and her son was shocked to see her. He told her about his difficult situation, and she gave him a job on the farm. He got a job at the farm and began working there immediately. Every evening, he received his wages for the day's work. It was already dark by the time he returned home. When he got home, he told his wife everything that had happened. His wife was very clever. She told him to ask his mother for his share of her property. However, Ayesha had already given all of her property to her neighbor's child. A few days later, Ayesha passed away. The neighbor told Ayesha's son that she had left all of her property to the neighbor's young son. Disappointed and filled with regret, the husband and wife walked back home in silence.